Okay, so here's a video of a candidate with a supposed Band 7 score for speaking. So let's have a look. Here's the introduction.
Hello, my name is Richard. What's your full name, please?
My name is Haley Chang.
And what's your full Chinese name?
Oh, it's Chang Hao Ling. It's CHANGHAO-LING.
Oh,
Okay, there's no need to spell your name. The examiner can check that from your passport.
okay. And what should I call you?
Just call me Haley.
Okay. Can I check your ID and passport, please?
Sure.
Okay. In the first part, I'd like to ask you some general questions about yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about what you do. Do you work or are you a student?
Okay, so this is a very common first topic in part 1. What do you do?
I work. Not a student anymore.
I don't know why. I don't know why she left off the subject here, but I do like her cadence when she speaks.
Not a student anymore.
Okay. Why did you choose this job?
Well, I'm pretty interested in covering news and then just want to try what's it like to be a reporter. That's why I choose this job.
Well, since she has already started working, of course, this should be chose, not choose.
Choose this job.
Is your company a good one?
Well, I can't complain more because I don't have much to do, but I get money still.
Okay, so I can't complain more. I can't complain much. Or I can't complain a lot. But I get money still. I still get money. Or I still get paid, might even be better.
Still.
Okay, when would you like to retire?
I haven't thought about that question yet. I'm still young, though.
This is kind of a strange grammar. Haven't thought about that question yet. I'm still young, though. Because the though would seem to be indicating that you are giving an opinion or idea that's contrary to the first, but these are the same. So, not I'm still young though, but because I'm still young.
Okay, now I'd like you to speak about art. How often do you visit a museum or art gallery?
How often? I think I only visit museums and art galleries when I travel abroad. So not very often.
Okay. Did you learn art at high school?
Not really. I'm actually really bad at art.
Okay, so some of these answers are really short.
Are there any famous artists from your country?
Famous artist? Can't really think of anyone right now. Jeez.
Another one that's really short.
Okay. Let's discuss transport. What kinds of public transport are available in your city?
Public transport, buses, MRTs, subways.
Now, she lives in Taipei. There's only one MRT system. And so this shouldn't be pluralized. And this is the same thing. MRTs, subways. The MRT is a subway.
Pretty much that's what people use in their daily lives.
Why do people take public transport instead of private transport, like cars or motorcycles?
Mostly it's very difficult to find a parking spot in Taipei City. That's why people choose to take buses or MRTs in the city. It's easier to travel around.
Okay, should public transport be made cheaper?
Oh yeah, definitely, because I think taking just from one stop costs like 20 NTs.
Okay, so here we saw some use of stress and intonation. But she has some difficulty expressing the idea one stop. So just going one stop costs 20 NT. And of course here it's much expensive and it's too expensive. So when you want to talk about stops, so it's going one stop, not from one stop.
It's too much expensive.
Okay.
All right, so let's see what the part 2 topic is.
In part 2, I will give you a topic and I'd like you to talk about it for 1 to 2 minutes. Before you talk, you will have 1 minute to think about what you are going to say. You may make some notes if you wish. Do you understand?
Sure.
I'd like you to describe an electronic device you own.
Okay, so here's our 1 minute preparation time.
Okay, I think time's up now. So if you can talk.
I'm not sure why he thinks the time is up. He should be timing the session.
For me?
An electronic device I have.
Okay, again, this candidate has no introduction. She just starts talking about her cell phone. Remember, in part 2, you need to start off with an introduction.
I would say I carry my cell phone around every day because it's very convenient. And what's it look like? It's black, but I can change the cover. Depends on what color I want it for the day.
Okay, so depending on what color. So we have color here, so we don't need the it. So it depends on what color I want for the day. And if we just go back here, what it looks like.
Change the cover. Depends on what color I want it for the day. So sometimes it's black and sometimes it's pink or purple. It really depends on how I feel.
Okay, so it really depends on how I feel.
What color I want it for that day.
Okay, so she seems to have a problem with it because she's putting it in places where it's not needed.
Okay. And it has a monitor and has the keypad on it.
Now this recording is quite old because she was talking about how they only recently started using cell phones on the MRT. So I don't know what kind of cell phone she's talking about. My cell phones don't have a monitor; they just have a screen. And I don't know about the keypad. Maybe it's like a really old phone, possibly. But anyway, for phones we just use the word monitor, and nowadays phones don't even have keypads anymore. Well, I guess that's not really true. They do, but it's part of the screen.
And what function it has, it can go onto the internet. So basically I can check my emails or go onto the internet when I'm on the bus or in the MRT. And now it's
okay, so she says on the bus but in the MRT, but it should be on for both of these.
When I'm on the bus or in the MRT. And now it's very convenient because we can actually talk on the phone in the subway.
Okay, so again here the preposition is on.
So that's very convenient. And function also, it has the calendar in it so that I can take notes and make sure.
Okay, so here we have the article the when we should be using the article because the calendar is non-specific.
I don't forget things that I have to do on a particular day. And it has the alarm.
Okay, so she definitely has a problem with articles because here she's using the again.
On for like if I'm setting up a birthday reminder for myself or for other friends, then it reminds me so that I won't forget to.
We have some missing auxiliary verbs here, like if I setting. So if I'm setting up a birthday reminder, but I mean the fact that she uses setting up, that's quite good because set up goes well with the word reminder, or in fact just well actually no, that's not right. Setting up, we would just say set a reminder, not setting up. So let me correct what I said. It's a good attempt. But instead, she should have said, set a reminder. Like, if I set a reminder for myself, or if I'm setting a reminder for myself.
And it reminds me so that I won't forget to call my friends on their birthdays. And that's pretty much the functions I use for daily lives.
Okay, I'm not sure how many lives she has. I'm assuming it's just one. So it should be for my daily life.
And that's the most convenient electronic device I think I have so far. So that's it.
Okay, this response was underlength. The examiner didn't ask her to expand on any of the points. He just moved on to the rounding off questions. So let's have a listen.
Would you recommend this product to others?
Oh yeah, definitely. But in order not to make a commercial here, so I wouldn't say what kind of cell phone I have, but I definitely suggest that everyone should carry one now because it's very convenient to call each other or to communicate. It's just a lot easier. Like I just wouldn't imagine. It's really hard to believe like how we live and like back.
Okay, this response is really long. The rounding off question is just a basic yes/no question, and you really should answer that in like 1 or 2 sentences.
In 10 years, like we don't have cell phones. I kind of forgot how life was back then. So.
Okay.
Okay, here we go on to part 3.
So part 3, you've been talking about an electronic device that you own. And I'd like to ask you 1 or 2 more questions related to this. Let's consider, first of all, the internet. Is internet banking popular in your country?
Yeah, it's very popular, and people can just go onto the internet and check their balances or do the deposits.
Here we have that article again. And for deposits, the verb we're going to be using is make, not do.
Deposits, and if they want to save money or they want to wire transfer or whatever, it's just so convenient.
But we do have wire transfer. That's quite a good word to use.
Yeah, with just one click and then your money's over there. So I think it's still pretty popular as long as people can apply it online. It's pretty popular.
Now this apply it, I don't know if she means apply for the service, like go to the bank and fill out an application form, something like that, or if she just means use it. It's not clear. So most of the response is pretty easy to understand. Just at the end, she kind of made it unclear by using the word apply. But overall, yeah, it's easy to understand what she's saying.
People can apply it online. It's pretty popular, I would say.
Suggest some ways to make the internet safer for children to use.
Ways safer for children to use. I think for children that are under like 18 years old or under 12 years old, parents should be with them when they use the internet because it's really hard to prevent people to put some pictures or articles that's not appropriate for kids to learn. And kids are very smart nowadays. They know like how to get sources they want from the internet and just key in some keywords, and then they are able to find out articles or pictures.
It wasn't bad. Just one thing here, this find out. There's a difference between finding something out and finding something. Find out is used like with answers. You find out the answer to something, or you find out that something happened. I think here she wants to say find, not find out.
Find out articles or pictures. So I think for children that are, for parents, it's very important for parents to keep them company when they are using internet services or when they are going online. And for students, I think education at school, like whatever a teacher says, are very important. But
she's using the word like quite a bit. Maybe she spent some time overseas.
However, I just don't think students will listen to the teachers that much. So basically, I think people who are making commercials or making their websites or something like that should think of the effect of putting some pictures or articles online that would do harm to children. So can really think of it really some ways that are effective, but I just think that parents accompany will be really important for children.
Okay, except for the last sentence. The other sentences, a lot of them were quite long, and she used some complex grammar, and sometimes we had some sentences that were error-free. Just here at the end, I just think that parents accompany will be really important for children. So if you think something will be, then it must be preceded by a noun. So parents accompanying children will be important for them. But yeah, some long answers.
Children.
Okay, thank you. Information technology. Can you justify the amount of money?
It's kind of strange how the examiner introduces the topic. He just says information technology, and then I guess you're supposed to guess that's the topic.
Money spent on worldwide developing technology.
I beg your pardon?
Could you justify the money spent on development of technology throughout the world, which is obviously a large amount of money nowadays? How could you argue that was worthwhile rather than a waste of money?
You mean money spent on technology around the world?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Well, in the 21st century now we're living in, technology is what we cannot live without with. And
Okay, she seems to be having some trouble here. Maybe because the question is quite hard, and maybe because the examiner didn't explain the question very well. So maybe this is not on her.
Actually don't quite understand how you want me to describe this, but I definitely think we should spend money on technology development and to make our life more convenient. But I'm not quite sure,
Okay.
Yeah.
That's pretty much exactly what I want.
And then when she's talking, he cuts her off.
Wanted to justify why we spend this much money. And if you could speculate on how technology...
So we never really got to hear her expand her points. He just moved on to the next question.
will develop in the future.
How technology will develop in the future?
So she's a little bit shaken now after that question. That's why we see her hesitating so much here. She wants to make sure she gets it right.
Yes.
Oh, it's like what we see in the movie, like a remote control or something.
Okay. She seems to be having trouble here with the difference between the singular and the plural. So like we see in movies,
in the office, and then you can basically turn on the TV at home or turn on the lights at home and maybe turn on the microwave or whatever, the oven.
okay, this is quite old because we have that technology now. It's not just in the movies.
For you, and then when you drive home, like a robot or something at home will definitely do the housework for you. And like people carry, laptops will be a lot smaller than what we have now, and maybe put in.
Alright, so this is one of the few times when she mispronounced a word. Pronunciation is pretty good throughout.
Your pocket, or it better.
Wait, hang on a second. Put in your pocket. Oh, a laptop that you can put in your pocket. Okay. She's talking here about a Palm, which is like a really old electronic device.
Or it definitely better than a Palm or something. It's just like a computer, and then people can just go online everywhere on the street, even in the corner. And I just can't imagine people.
Okay, so just a small problem with prepositions. In the corner would be like in a house, in the corner of a house, like between where two walls meet. But if it's out on the streets, it's on a corner. or at a corner.
People, or we still need to drive, like we can have a robot or something like drive for us.
Okay, here's another one. Robot.
It's really, I don't know, like people are really smart nowadays and they can invent lots of things, and then it's really hard to believe what we have now and like back in 10 years. So I wouldn't imagine what's like gonna
What we have now and like back in 10 years, so 10 years ago,
be like in about 10 or 20 years. I think it's definitely going to be more convenient.
Okay, well, thank you very much. That's the end of the speaking test.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so let's have a look at some problems that she had and a breakdown of the score. Okay, so for a score, for fluency and coherence, especially for fluency, or with regard to fluency, some of her responses in part 1 were really short, and her part 2 response was also under length. For vocabulary, there was some inappropriate vocabulary used. You can see some examples here. And she seemed to have a problem with prepositions. But it didn't distract you from understanding the message. And then for grammar, sometimes she used the wrong tenses, like we have that choose and chose. She had some trouble with countable and uncountable nouns, like with the MRT. We saw some examples of wrong word order, wrong modals, and sometimes subject-verb agreement problems. Now, her pronunciation was quite good, and for most of the time, it was pretty natural and clear, and she only mispronounced 1 or 2 phonemes. The reason why her pronunciation score isn't higher is because her use of stress and intonation wasn't really sustained over very long answers. To get that really high pronunciation score, like for an 8, for example, you need to use those features over what is called a long turn, or like an extended answer. Well, I hope you found the video useful. Next, I'll be looking at a candidate who got a possible band 9 score, so stick around for that.